know who we are. You know who we are. We are QPR.
So new signing Frank Clark had scored his first goals for QPR, but questions were beginning to be asked about his signing. Rangers were linked with Rook before we signed Clark, and he'd been scoring goals for fun at promotion rivals Ipswich. But now Clark was more than proving his worth to QPR. Carlisle United came to town, and Clark was again on the score sheet. He got the only goal in a tight 1-0 win. It proved to be a costly win, though, with young right-back Dave Clement picking up an injury that would rule him out for the rest of the season. And to top it off, Rodney Marsh also picked up a knock, which would rule him out for a week. But with it being Easter, that meant he would miss 2 vital games. Good Friday saw Cardiff visit Loftus Road for an 11 a.m. kickoff, and it was another narrow win for Rangers. Ian Morgan got the only goal of the game, leaving us 5 points clear of Ipswich and Blackpool with just 6 games to go. But it was about to get tough. After a hard-fought win, QPR had to make the trip north to Middlesbrough the following day, and it was no surprise that a tied QPR side lost 3-1. Les Allen scored for Rangers, but with Ipswich and Blackpool both winning, it was squeaky bum time in Shepherd's Bush. We were now just 3 points clear with 5 games to go. Another long trip, this time to Cardiff, and it was all changed with the starting 11. Mike Kelly replaced Ron Springett in goal, who wouldn't play again during the run-in. Bobby Finch made his debut at right-back, whilst Mick Leach also returned to the side. The defeat at Middlesbrough meant that Rodney Marsh also came back, still with a badly bruised foot, but Rangers needed their talisman back in the side. Marsh, of course, had an impact, winning a penalty after being hacked down in the box, but he was unable to take it after limping away injured. Mike Keane took on penalty duties. He'd already scored 2 that season, but this one was saved, and Rangers suffered a 1-0 defeat. A win for Ipswich meant that they replaced us at the top of the table, whilst Blackpool's win over Blackburn put them just a point behind us, with 4 games to go. Now, you couldn't have handpicked better opposition next, as Huddersfield visited Loftus Road, who had a dreadful away record and sat in the bottom half of the table with nothing to play for. Time for QPR to get back to winning ways.
Roger Morgan to Leach. Marsh and Clark in the middle. Now Clark. Leach. And a goal! Put in by the left back. By leg. 39 minutes and it's 2-0. Leach the man who shot, but the number 3 leg miskicked the ball into his own net.
2 goals from Rodney Marsh helped Rangers to win that game 3-0, but wins for Blackpool and Ipswich ensured things were still very tight at the top, ahead of a massive game as QPR travelled to Ipswich. It was a sellout, with QPR selling out their ticket allocation for a tense afternoon. The home crowd were growing anxious as QPR started to take control, and Rodney Marsh went on one of his trademark dribbles into the box and was brought down. Penalty. After we'd missed our last one, this was a pressure moment. Rodney Marsh stepped up. He took a long run up. Up he stepped, placing the ball to the keeper's left and into the back of the net. 1-0 to the Super Hoops. Now, many QPR fans felt that the club had made a mistake not signing John O'Rourke, and his 10 goals in 10 games for Ipswich had elevated them to the top of the table. He would, of course, have an impact here, crossing for Mick Kelly to equalise just minutes before half-time. It was all to play for, and Rangers began to sit back as Ipswich poured forward. The nerves among the QPR fans must have been terrible. A goal seemed inevitable. Former England striker Ray Crawford was coming towards the end of his career, but he could still score goals and proved it here, heading Ipswich ahead with just 20 minutes to go. Roger Morgan then went down in a heap with a bad injury. He'd been booked in for an operation but wanted to play on in this big game, but he was carried off the pitch by manager Alex Stock, with his season now over. Morgan had played through the pain all season to help the team when he really should have had an operation, and he ended up struggling with knee problems for the rest of his career, which was eventually cut short by this injury. With Blackpool winning, it looked like our chances of promotion might be over, as we were dropping to third if the score stayed the same. As the clock ticked to 90 minutes, substitute Les Allen stood over a free kick, as everyone bar the goalkeeper went forward. Allen floated the ball in, and up rose Mick Leach at the far post over a mass of bodies to head the ball into the back of the net. Rangers had got the point and were in second place ahead of Blackpool on goal difference. Ipswich still had a game in hand and faced Crystal Palace midweek, with several thousand QPR fans making the trip to South London, hoping to see them drop points. But Ipswich were in fine form and thrashed Palace 3-1. 2 games to go, now 2 points behind Ipswich. It was starting to feel like the league title was heading to Portman Road. Our final home game of the season was against Birmingham City, who were very tough opposition. They sat in 4th place, having reached the FA Cup semi-final. A crowd of over 25,000 was the biggest at Loftus Road since a game against Brentford in 1951. Ian Morgan settled the nerves with his 10th goal of the season before Mick Leach added a second in what turned out to be a comfortable win for QPR. Wins for Ipswich and Blackpool meant that it was all set up for the final day of the season. Ipswich needed a point at home to Blackburn to win the title, whilst QPR and Blackpool faced away games. Blackpool at Huddersfield and QPR at Aston Villa. If we matched Blackpool's result, we were heading to the top flight for the first time in our history. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Coming up next time, it's the final day of the season, and 15,000 QPR fans travel to Villa Park, with Alex Stock's men 1 win away from the First Division.
The world is ever seen.